In this video, I am going to talk about 3 important facts. 1. The new research pointing increased risk of type 2 diabetes for people who eat red meat. Red meat was classified as Group 2A, probably carcinogenic to humans, by WHO. 2. The effect of red meat on people with existing diabetes. 3. Does eating poultry cause diabetes? In recent years, the relationship between diet and chronic diseases has been a major focus of scientific research. A significant study conducted by the University of Cambridge has provided robust evidence linking the consumption of red and processed meats to an increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. This extensive analysis, which involved nearly 2 million participants from 31 different studies across 20 countries, sheds light on the potential health risks associated with meat consumption and offers insights into dietary recommendations. Background and motivation for the study. The global production and consumption of meat have surged over the past few decades, often exceeding dietary guidelines in many regions. Previous research has suggested a connection between high meat intake and type 2 diabetes, but results have varied and lacked conclusiveness. This inconsistency prompted researchers to undertake a more comprehensive study to understand the association better. The study, published in The Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology, utilized data from the Interconnect project. This initiative allows for detailed analysis of individual participant data, rather than relying solely on published results. By harmonizing key data across multiple studies, the researchers aim to provide more definitive evidence on how different types of meat consumption affect diabetes risk. Key findings of the study on meat consumption. The research revealed several important findings regarding the consumption of processed meat, unprocessed red meat, and poultry. Processed meat. Consuming 50 grams of processed meat daily, equivalent to about 2 slices of ham, was associated with a 15% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes over the next decade. Unprocessed red meat. Eating 100 grams of unprocessed red meat per day, roughly the size of a small steak, was linked to a 10% increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Poultry. While the habitual consumption of 100 grams of poultry daily was initially associated with an 8% higher risk, further analyses showed that this link was weaker compared to processed and unprocessed red meats. What is poultry? Poultry is any domesticated bird used for food. Varieties include chicken, turkey, goose, duck, rock Cornish hens, and game birds such as pheasant, squab and guinea fowl. Also included are huge birds such as ostrich, emu and rhea, ratites, according to USDA. These findings underscore the importance of moderating meat consumption, particularly processed and unprocessed red meats, to reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. Wait, there is more, but do not forget to hit the like button if you have found this video useful so far. In the second part of the video, we are going to see the effect of meat on people who have existing diabetes type 2. So, keep watching. Implications for public health and dietary recommendations. The study's results have significant implications for public health policies and dietary guidelines. Professor Nida Faruhi, a senior author of the study, emphasized the need to limit the intake of processed and unprocessed red meats to decrease the incidence of type 2 diabetes in the population. The research supports existing recommendations to reduce meat consumption and encourages further investigation into the effects of poultry consumption. Global perspective and future research directions. One of the strengths of this study is its global perspective. Most previous research on meat consumption and diabetes risk focused on populations in the USA, Europe, and East Asia. However, this study included data from regions like the Middle East, Latin America, and South Asia, highlighting the need for more research in these underrepresented areas. The use of harmonized data and unified analytic methods across nearly 2 million participants allowed the researchers to provide more concrete evidence than was previously possible. This approach not only strengthens the validity of the findings but also emphasizes the importance of including diverse populations in health research. The University of Cambridge study offers compelling evidence of the link between meat consumption and type 2 diabetes risk. By analyzing data from nearly 2 million individuals worldwide, the researchers have provided a clearer picture of how dietary habits can influence health outcomes. These findings reinforce the importance of making informed dietary choices and highlight the need for continued research to understand the complex relationship between diet and chronic diseases. As public health policies evolve, such comprehensive studies will play a crucial role in shaping guidelines that promote healthier lifestyles and prevent chronic illnesses like type 2 diabetes. In this second part of the video, we're going to talk about something that affects many of us: the link between eating meat and the progression of type 2 diabetes. You might be wondering, does eating meat make a difference? Let's find out together. Recent studies have shown that eating red and processed meats can increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. But what does that mean for those who already have diabetes? Does it make the condition worse? Let's break it down. First up, red meat. Research from Harvard found that people who eat a lot of red meat have a 62% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes compared to those who eat less. That's a big number. But why is this happening? Well, red meat is high in saturated fats and cholesterol, which can affect how our bodies manage insulin, the hormone that controls blood sugar levels. Now, let's talk about processed meats like bacon and sausages. These are even more concerning. A study from the University of Cambridge found that eating just 50 grams of processed meat a day, that's about 2 slices of ham, can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes by 15% over 10 years. That's a lot from just a small amount of food. But what about those who already have type 2 diabetes? Does eating meat make their condition progress faster? The answer isn't entirely clear, but there are some clues. Eating a lot of meat can lead to weight gain and higher cholesterol levels, both of which can make diabetes harder to control. So, it might not directly speed up the disease, but it can make managing it more challenging. What about other meats like chicken and fish? Good news here. These don't seem to have the same negative effects. In fact, they might even be beneficial. Fish, in particular, is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are good for heart health. And since people with diabetes are at higher risk for heart disease, this is a win-win. So, what can we do if we want to enjoy meat but also keep our health in check? Here are some simple tips. Choose lean meats like chicken or turkey instead of red meats. Try to limit processed meats as much as possible. Include more plant-based proteins in your diet, like beans and lentils. If you love red meat, try to have it less often and in smaller portions. These changes might seem small, but they can make a big difference in managing diabetes and overall health. But remember, it's not just about cutting out foods. It's about finding a balance that works for you. Everyone's body is different, so it's important to listen to it and make choices that feel right. To wrap it up, while eating red and processed meats can increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, making mindful choices about the types and amounts of meat we eat can help manage the condition and prevent complications. It's all about balance and moderation. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you found this information helpful. If you have any questions or tips of your own, feel free to share them in the comments. Consult your healthcare professional before changing your medication or lifestyle. None of the information provided by this video is a replacement for your physician's advice. On the screen, you see videos related to other major diabetes-related issues. Thanks very much for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel.